folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So did you watch the big speech last night? Did it excite you? Was it so invigorating to learn of what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do? To get from the Supreme Leader what your permission is. And the excitement in that speech, it was just overwhelming, wasn't it? I want to talk about that excitement. Not just coming from the White House, but the excitement coming from the American people, or really the lack thereof. I mentioned, actually I did a video a few days ago on prepper burnout. And it wasn't actually a very good, or at least well-received video, I guess. The viewership, I'll get the word out here in a second, was really low on it. In fact, I've noticed over the last few weeks that the only videos that I put out that seem to do really well with views are the really sensational ones. You know, the ones that just get everyone fired up. And I thought maybe it was just me, and it could be partly. I thought maybe it was some censorship going on by YouTube, and that could very well be the case also. But the more and more I'm reading, I'm finding that this is happening with others here on YouTube. And not just on YouTube, but we're seeing that in mainstream news even, the ratings are down. And so I kind of have a theory. And it's something that I actually had talked about long ago when all this health crisis and panic first started. Is that the worst thing that we have to really face is kind of the slow death. To where things are getting bad, progressively getting bad. But we get to the point that whether through burnout or through just believing that it's not as bad as it was that time, or, yeah, we're kind of used to it just getting worse consistently, that we get to this point that we become very apathetic, we become complacent, we just, kind of roll over and just say, well, it doesn't matter anymore. And then that's when the slow death comes in. The fact is that there's certainly a lot of things going on. I mean, it's not like it's just completely slow news all the time. It's not like there's not some kind of effort continually to chip away at our freedoms and continually to chip away at us trying to be a sovereign nation that we once were, and to just fall in line with the globalist community and the Great Reset and the New World Order. Just look at some of these headlines. I mean, for instance, this health crisis that most people have probably just grown tired of it, right? You're just tired of hearing about it. You understand that, well, there's some people obviously getting sick out there. Most people now know at least someone that's gotten sick. But, it's not quite as bad or anywhere near as bad as, you've heard about it in the news. But yet, they're still pushing it forward. And it appears that there's probably going to be a third wave, maybe a final one, and maybe not, because it's just too good for them to let go. They can't just let it die. And the funny thing is so many people, they're just kind of tired of it. But look at this. I mean, now we're talking about it being in sewage, wastewater. Houston, Texas, they're talking about it there. St. Louis, Missouri, found it there. The CDC and Dr. Fakey has been talking about how just because things look good, just because the numbers are kind of going down, just because people kind of getting this feeling that it's kind of over and we're seeing states, open back up, don't jump too soon. Don't take your face covering off too soon. Don't think that it's okay. In fact, just the other day he said that, maybe, we'll be able to start having gatherings with small groups of families. In fact, the president last night said the same thing, that you might be allowed by July 4th. Maybe you're allowed by July 4th to celebrate independence by having a small group of friends and family at your house in your backyard. That's how you celebrate independence, by obeying the orders of the overlords. There's more that's going on. I mean, it's not stopping. It's not like they just gave up. There was all this panic for the past year between the health crisis and riots, and then the whole election of what happened from start to finish, and all the rumors and conspiracy going on, and everyone was just on edge. They were waiting for martial law. They were waiting for civil war. They were waiting for this, takeover. And then nothing really happened. And I think a lot of people have just kind of, fizzled out. But look, I mean, just yesterday they passed a gun control bill in Congress, and probably will end up becoming law. There's more things that's going on, and we talk about it occasionally. The whole economy, no matter what they say, no matter how many stimulus checks they send out, the economy is just kind of slowly, deteriorating. Costs of everything is up right now. Commodities, sharply up, virtually all commodities. Propane costs, gasoline. I mean, you all know about the gasoline costs. It's gone up 75 cents to $1 a gallon pretty much everywhere over the last month and a half. Food prices across the world have gone up. So this isn't just an American thing, it's really a global thing. The problem is that people are just, what do you do about it? We thought the world was ending last year. Remember, all the 2020 bingo. Have you got this yet? Have you got this yet on your 2020 bingo card? Remember all that? And everyone was on edge. Their adrenaline was pumping. They were waiting each day for the end to come. Remember all the talk of asteroids and the volcanoes and earthquakes and all the crazy stuff that was going on, and everyone was on edge. And then now we come to 2021. The reality is it's just as bad. It hasn't slowed down, but it just seems like everyone's just tired. It's almost like the mood of the nation is kind of like the energy level of the president, which puts you to sleep after just a few minutes. That's when it becomes dangerous. I watched a movie a few years back, and I don't remember the name of it, so don't even ask. And I remember that it was not a good movie. It was a slow and just not a good movie. But I watched it. It was this futuristic dystopian movie. And the reason why I watched it is because I wanted to see how they portrayed the plot. And the general plot for the movie is that at some point in the future, the global elites and powers that be devised a way, and I don't even remember how it was. I don't remember if it was through an injection, a pill, or aerosol, or whatever it was. But they found a way to shut off certain emotions of humans. And they made everyone very melancholy, very complacent, very just blah. They didn't have any emotions. It was just, whatever happens, it was fine. And everyone was very emotionless. And what happened, and this is the reason why I watched it, what happened is that the globalists, the elites, the powers, they took over and created this one world utopian government kind of thing, and exerted extreme strict controls on everyone. Everyone was monitored very heavily. Very 1984 kind of stuff, or Brave New World, where every moment, every movement of your life was monitored by the government. And they did this without any resistance. They did it without a shot being fired. They did it without protests and riots. They did it without any kind of insurrection or civil war or martial law. They did it because when they told the people what to do, they just did it and they didn't resist. Now, I'm not saying we're making some type of, just kind of saying that maybe that's what they're doing to us. Although you could certainly make an argument with shots in the arms and all the fake meat that Bill Gates is pushing on everyone, that there could be a possibility of the scenario I just explained in the movie happening. But I think the bigger point is the danger of a slow death. I've said for years, and I've said it on this channel before, that the worst thing that I feel that comes out of these apocalyptic movies that a lot of preppers watch because they hope to, maybe learn something from it, or it's fun to watch. the worst thing is that it teaches people that SHTF happens overnight. One day things are fine and great, and the next day the world has ended. And it's very easy in that scenario to realize what's happening. It's very easy to enact your plan and to go into action and to defend yourself and to get your family prepared for what's continuing to happen, because it happens all at once. And there's no doubt in your mind that SHTF has happened. The worst scenario is what we're really living in right now, where everyone has just kind of lost interest. Everyone knows in the back of their minds that things are not correct, that things are off, that things are getting worse. They see it all around them. They see it in their checkbook every day and every week. They see it at the prices that they're paying for stuff. They see it in the news headlines. They know it's getting worse. They know it's getting worse faster and faster, but they don't care anymore. They've lost interest because it's gone on so long that we've just become numb to all the bad news. That right there is the worst scenario that we can be in. We cannot allow ourselves to fall victim to this slow death. We have to recognize that things are in fact getting bad. It doesn't mean that we live in this heightened state of fear and emotion and adrenaline all the time. That's not what I'm advising. What I am saying is that we need to recognize that it's happening. Recognize that things get worse. Recognize that we have to be proactive to stay on top of things and to stay prepared. And not just think that, well, maybe it all is over now. I had a comment the other day from someone said that that's what they did. That after the peak of the first, wave hit and everything kind of slowed down and places started opening the first time, they kind of figured, well, it's over. So they cracked into their, prep supplies and started eating out of that and, figured it was all over. And now they're struggling to get back on their, prepping schedule and rebuild their supplies. This is what I call the slow prepper's death, of where we just get tired of what's going on and we lose interest because it's happening so long, and every day we've been just waiting for SHTF to happen. We've just been holding out saying, okay, I know, I'm ready. I've been training for years. I've been prepping for years. I'm ready for it. And it never happens. And we're like, man, just going to go back to being a normie now. And what we don't realize is it's been happening all along. It's just been happening incrementally each day. And that's what's going on, folks. Incrementally each day, we're falling further and further down that hill. No, it's probably not going to be some big one day, boom, it's happened, to where everyone on the planet realizes that the apocalypse has come. It's going to be just little steps further and further and faster down that hill, until one day you wake up and you're like, oh man, it's too late now. It's happened and it's gone, and now I'm just a slave, and I have no freedom, and I have no way to prepare, and I have, I can't buy land anymore, food is gone, the prices are too high, my money is now worthless, and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm in a place that I can't do anything. Don't allow that to happen. I feel that's what's happening with some people. Not just the preppers, but people all over the world. They've grown tired of the hype. I mean, even news ratings, look at this. Of course, they're blaming it on the fact that Trump is no longer president, and so that they have nothing to talk about. And I'm sure that's very much possible, and that probably plays into a lot of it. But CNN and all the news agencies, even conservative ones like Newsmax, are reporting their ratings have plummeted. And I don't think it's just because Trump is no longer president. I think part of it is that people are tired. They're tired of hearing about it all the time. And they just want to go back to normal life. And so they have created kind of like someone that gets kidnapped, and the Stockholm Syndrome thing, where they They know that it's not going to get any better, so they kind of create in their mind this reality and start believing that, well, it is better. It's okay. It's not that bad. I can live with this. It's okay. And so we have Stockholm syndrome setting in with a lot of people, believing that the world that we now live in is okay and it's not worth getting all upset over it. And we really don't need to be that prepared, because if this is all it is, we can survive that. Folks, don't allow that to happen in your life. Get yourselves prepared and work towards it as often and as much as you can. Sure, you need breaks, but don't allow that slow death to happen in and around your life. Get your house in order, folks. I say that all the time. All right, again, having a local meeting here in the Ozarks for anyone in the area or anyone that wants to come here. It's in kind of the central Missouri Ozarks, Texas County. If you want details on it, shoot me an email at preparedhomestead@protonmail.com, and I will send you some information. That's Sunday, March 21st. Meeting starts around 2-ish. It's a nice big building, so there should be plenty of room, and there's already a lot of people that's committed to come. So I hope to see you there, folks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.